Hey everyone, welcome to Financial Revelations. I am David Szafranski, your host. I wrote a book. It's called The Sin of Retirement. You can go to sinofretirement.com and buy the book, or if you feel better on Amazon, it doesn't matter to me. You can go to Amazon and buy the book, thesinofretirement.com. You can get the ebook, thesinofretirement.com, and you can get the audiobook also. So your choice. If you don't like to read or you can't read, I'm just kidding. Of course you can read. You're listening to this podcast. You can read. We're going to the Amazon in March. Guess what? Trip is booked solid. Can't take anybody else. In fact, we're turning people away. We're probably going to do a second trip, and we got a big surprise in regard to the trip. I'm not going to share it now. It is a big surprise, and it's going to be really cool, and you're going to love it because we're going to talk to somebody while we're on the trip. We're going to do the podcast while we're on the trip with somebody who's got some real-world experience in a free market experiment. There's a textbook being written. It's in South America. It surrounds the country of Argentina, and we're going to talk to somebody that's got direct experience with this, and I'm so intrigued by this because you're the Argentinian people are in essence libertarian, more free markets, but they've been ruled by this group of people called the Peronists since like 1946, and it started out libertarian, a little bit more free market, social justice. Whenever there's the word social justice, it's going to be a hot mess, okay? Because there's no such thing as social justice. That's a made-up terminology that doesn't mean anything, and so it can apply to anything. And when you have these nebulous phrases that people come up with, like Black Lives Matter, well, of course Black Lives Matter. So do white lives, and so do red lives, and yellow lives, and whatever. All lives matter. But when you do a social justice movement and you attach a name to it like that, it tends to take on a life of itself. And that's what happened in Argentina. And they went to the left. They moved left, hard left, super hard left. And basically everybody was employed by the government. And so what happened? They had 1,000% inflation. They had 1,200%. Could you imagine 1,200% inflation? We had 9% inflation here, and people were, that's a lot. That's a lot for us. But imagine if it was 1,200%, what eggs would cost versus what they did cost. And that's what they had in Argentina. And they did something. They elected Javier Milei, and he is a free market libertarian. Sorry about that. I'm going to silence my phone right now. Usually I tell people, silence your phones. And then I didn't do it. So that's happening right now. And the Trump administration just supported the re-election of Javier Milei, kind of like his version of the midterms, with a credit swap. And that's where you swap currencies to shore up their currency, to make sure it doesn't drop. And it's not a bailout. We made money off the credit swap, believe it or not. That's rare, albeit rare, but we did. And so I'm going to be able to talk to this person. We're going to have them on the podcast. It's going to be great. We're going to be doing it from the middle of the jungle because, we have Starlink. We took a Starlink and we left it there. We paid for it. And my only requirement was when I'm on the boat, that Starlink is on the boat. Now, just in case, I don't like to take a lot of chances. I take chances all day long. I take a Starlink also. It's a smaller one. It's called a Starlink Mini. They just come out with a new version of it. I'm probably going to buy it because I like it. And I love technology. I like to see how it works. And Starlink is part of Elon Musk companies. And when that company goes public, SpaceX, you're going to want to buy it. It's going to be spectacular. I think SpaceX has to go public to do the Mars thing. I think they're going to need the money from the public markets to be able to afford that because they're talking about putting a launch base on the moon to escape Earth's gravity so you don't have to get through the gravity of Earth first. It'll be a lot easier. You could have less fuel and a smaller starship if you're launching it from the moon, because there's no, there's less gravity there and have an atmosphere. And so that's going to take public market money. And I think that's why they're going to go public probably within the next couple of years, even though Elon Musk says they have no plans to. I think they're really going to have to. Because the kind of money that you're talking about to do a project like that is otherworldly, and only the public markets have that. So unless he's willing to spend all of his money, and I don't think that'll be enough. And by the way, we're giving away a hoodie, okay? You can buy this hoodie on my website, sinofretirement.com. You can buy other shirts that say, I love stepped up basis. Of course, communism sucks. Why do we have this shirt? Because communism sucks. It just so happens that socialism sucks also. What else do we have on there, Corey? We have buttons. Do we have buttons still? I don't know. Maybe we have buttons. We have hats that say, I suck at investing. There's one back there behind Corey, but and odds are this isn't personal, okay? This is just a fact. You probably suck at investing. That's why I do what I do. Like, I suck at transmissions. I can't fix a transmission. I don't take it personally. I had some guys, these Ukrainian guys, tile this house that we're redoing. Why? Because I suck at tile. There's a lot of things. I know what you're thinking, Dave. We thought you were great at everything. And probably I could be. I'm sure I could be. But I'm not. There are things where I'm like, hey, this is not worth my time. And this guy, Paul, is way better. So if you need a tile guy, I got a tile guy. But we're going to give this away. It's a large. We're going to give everything away in a large so as not to offend. And all you got to do is write Corey, right? Send an email to Corey and say, I want the shirt. And we're going to give away 5 of these. The first 5 people that say, I want the shirt, we're mailing you a shirt. Or the first person is going to get this hoodie, which is really nice. It's a large. And if you don't email in, I'm just going to take it because it's winter time, right? And it's the time where you wear, I don't really like hoodies, so I'm probably not going to take it. I wear quarter zips, I wear jackets, I wear sweatshirts, but I'm not a big fan of the hoodie. I don't know why. I'm just not. It's always been that way. So every once in a while, one of my kids will get me a hoodie for Christmas, and I'll say, oh, yeah, that's great. I love it. In the past, I would have said, I don't like hoodies. Like, just be grateful, David, okay? Be grateful. I'm trying to live grateful. Every morning I wake up, just to give you a little insight into my routine, I get up at about 4:30. I set my alarm for 5. I rarely ever make it that late. And I read my proverb for the day. So if you've never read the Bible before, this is how I read the Bible. It's not the only way. I read the proverb of the day. There's 31 proverbs. Some months have 29 days. Some have 28. Some have 30. Some have 31. Okay, so you're always going to have a proverb. So I read that proverb for the day, and then I read a couple of chapters in the book that I'm in. I'm in Judges right now. And I read the Bible from front to back, and then I start over again. Just kind of like they paint the Golden Gate Bridge. Start at the beginning, work to the end, start over. It's how I've always done it. That's how my pastor told me to do it. So you could do it that way too. And then I have some daily devotions that I read too. And then I do economic research. I read everything I can get my hands on economically for that morning, which is a lot. The kind of information that we have today is like drinking from a fire hose. So you have to discern what information you want to digest because some of it is not good. And I think that's where people really have a hard time with investing because they're reading information that is either bad information or it's not the right information or it's not going to lead to an informed investment decision. That's what I have to discern. That's what I've done over a long period of time. And can I help you with that? Sure, I could help you with that. But how about this? You go do what you're really good at. You go and do what your highest and best use of time is, whatever that is. Could be working, could be watching grandkids, could be staying home parent, and you let me handle the investment advice. That's what we'll do because that's what I'm really good at. I gotta say, we've made people tons of money. And it's not braggadocio. We've done it. How have we done it? We've made some really good choices. Of course, I have dogs in portfolios. Not every stock that In fact, I wanted to take a loss in my portfolio, so I sold Eli Lilly at like 645. It's going to buy it back 31 days later. I didn't think it was going anywhere in the near term. It is now at $1,000. Now, what I bought with it also went up, but it didn't go up as much as Eli Lilly did. And so, everybody does that. Everybody's got a dog that they just wish would come back. And I'm just going to hang on for it a little longer. The difference is I can cut those losses a little quicker. And so, anyway, I want you to get a shirt. Just send Corey an email, says, I want the shirt. And we're going to send you the shirt. Also, if you have questions, I want you to ask, send them to Corey. I don't want them. I'm not going to, I get so many emails. I have to send those to Corey. She gets a lot of emails too, I'm sure. Don't you, Corey? Yes. Yes, she does. But she passes the ones off to me that are worthy. So if you ask Corey a question and it sucks, it's not going to get to me because she knows. She knows me. Corey's been working with me for better than 20 years. And so Corey knows how to handle Dave by now, probably better than my wife in a lot of ways. So email Corey questions. If you want to go on a trip to the Amazon, you can reach out to us. The March trip is booked. You're going to be looking at June or May. There is a trip going in May from another church that you could probably attach to. They're great people. I know them personally. You'll love them. Interpreters are going. All that's happening. So, we've been watching some investment stuff now. We've been watching the technology trade kind of trade off a little bit. I'm not worried about it one bit. In fact, the worse it gets, the more I'm intrigued. There is no transition happening. AI has not reached its pinnacle. In fact, it hasn't even gotten started yet. We are seeing quite a bit of AI implementation and application in military space. And we're starting to see it in the banking industry in a lot of ways. It's going to work its way through industry. And it's going to seek its level. Where's it work? Where does it not work? Where's relationship way more important than expedience and cost? Those things will be kind of worked out in the next 10 years. So do we have a long time before the AI trade kind of sells off and we're transitioning to something else? Yeah, but in the meantime, the trade is not working this week, and it's getting close to time for me to buy. So I like to see 5-6 days in a row of really horrible trading activity, the advanced decline line being bad, the greatest of the great underperforming. And that's one of the things that we're looking for right now. And we're actively, this is the research that we do, is we actively look for things that we love that have underperformed because this might be their time to shine. So you're seeing some energy catch bids. You're seeing healthcare catch a bid. Hey, I like those sectors. Certainly Eli Lilly's coming out with a GLP-1 pill. It's going to be huge as opposed to their clients, which are no longer huge because they're taking the pill. And so that's going to be really accretive to Eli Lilly because a lot of people don't want to jab themselves with a needle. Now, I know people who take these GLP-1s. They don't seem to mind it. Needle's very, very small. It's not like, a huge needle at all. And it's the choke point and the real expense with Wegovy and other things is the applicator. So it's not just a syringe that you go to the doctor, you get a vaccine, they hold the needle up and they put it in that little bottle and they draw it out. That's not how it works. So Wegovy, what they do is you set a dial and then you ram it into your gut, kind of, and it dispenses. Well, I'm telling you, a lot of people aren't going to do that. They just don't like needles. I went to basic training and we didn't even have needles. They shot you with a gun. One of the biggest guys there, we're all standing there in our underwear, give you a little visual there, and we're walking down a row and they're shooting us with these air guns with vaccinations. That kid got within one step of that thing and whack, he hit the floor. I mean, he hit the floor hard. And they carried him out. They probably gave him the vaccinations while he was passed out just to get it over with. But he take the pill, and a lot of people are like that. They will take the pill. So I like that side of healthcare. I like UNH? They're a huge company. I like these other market sectors aside from technology, but I really do like technology, and I really love AI stuff. And so the next thing might be quantum computing and these hyperscaled computers that only big companies can build and maintain, because the problem with computers and these super high-end microchips is heat. They produce an immense amount of heat for their size. And you may say, well, look, I was in a room with one of these supercomputers and it was 80 degrees. Well, that's not that hot, true, but for the chip it is. That chip is probably at 200 degrees. And you can't have that. So you got to find ways to get the heat away. We're looking at companies that do that. We still love data centers. We're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. I'm buying. And if I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't be telling you about it here. I'd be telling you to sell away from it. I just don't think we're anywhere near trading off in the AI space or anything like that. So when you get opportunities to buy great companies on bad news, you should do it. So my question today that I want to answer is money that's left in a 529. What can you do with it? So you've got a 529. A kid was the beneficiary, and either they didn't go to college or trade school. Maybe they're in prison. I don't know. Or they didn't use all the money. So what happens with that money that's in a 529? Well, a couple things can happen with it, and some of them are really good. One, you could just keep the money there. You could wait. There's no timeline on a 529. And so you can keep it there. Maybe they go back to school. Maybe they go to grad school. You can do those things. You can wait it out and just see. Maybe they will go back to school. Maybe they go to trade school. And they say, you know what, I got an apprenticeship in plumbing or electrician, but now I need to know a little bit about accounting because I'm going to open up my own business. So they want to go and get an accounting degree. Boom, use the 529. You can change the beneficiary to another child, to somebody else. You could change the beneficiary to somebody who's not a child and wants to go to college. So you can change the beneficiary. You can roll over money to a Roth IRA, because remember, money that goes into a 529 has already been taxed. It's the growth that is deferred in taxes and potentially tax-free. The same exact rules as a Roth IRA. You can do up to $35,000 in your lifetime, roll it over into a Roth IRA. You could also pay back student loans, $10,000, up to $10,000 of qualified student loans. You can withdraw for non-qualified expenses, but there's a 10% penalty on it and federal tax. So that's not the best option. We're looking for ways to avoid the penalty and the tax. And the other thing is you can withdraw. So let's say your kid, like, wow, that kid's way smarter than what we thought. We never thought they were going to get a scholarship. You could withdraw an equal amount to the scholarship you've received without incurring a 10% penalty. All right. So those are the things that you can do with the 529 if the entire amount doesn't get used. I love the 529 plans. I like them way better than Uniform Transfer to Minors Act. I like them way better from UGMA, Uniform Gift to Minors Act, because we have seen here where somebody had a UGMA, the kid turned 18, bought a car. Guess what? They crashed the car like 3 days later. And so at 18, a UGMA is the kid's money. That never happens with the 529. You don't ever have to give them the money. So if they're not ready for it, you can just keep it. You can change the beneficiary. You could do these other things. And I like that flexibility with the 529. It's also available for just about any kind of higher education training, like a plumbing apprentice, electrician school, there's truck driving school. There's thousands and thousands. You could use it you don't even have to use it for college. You could use it for secondary school. You could use it for grade school if your kid's going to a private school. Now, you don't get the same bang for the buck if you're using it that soon, because it hasn't had time to grow. The benefit of a 529 is that the growth is tax deferred. And if you start putting it in when the kid's a baby and you use it for grade school, you don't really have that much time for growth. So you're kind of missing out on the best part of it. So I don't know that I would do a 529 for that, but yeah, I mean, you could. It's not the best idea. That's why we're here. We tell you what the good ideas are. People come to us and they say, Dave, I don't know what to do. It's okay. We know what to do. This is what we do. And by the way, we do it all day long. We don't do anything else. We do send people to the Amazon, so I guess we do kind of do something else, but that's charitable work. Get the book, read the book. If you want a book, you could, we'll send you a book. We got books here. We're going to charge you for it. We got to charge you for it. That money goes to charity. So, we love you guys. We want to make sure that you're making wise financial decisions. I am David Szafranski, a real American, a true red-blooded, gun-owning patriot, and the voice you can trust.